First of all, welcome to the channel and thank you for stopping by. My name is Frank, and behind me is a motorcycle I purchased 36 miles ago. I am outside of Stephentown, New York. I'm on my way back home from North Adams, Massachusetts, on a bike that is 400 pounds heavier than the bike I ride regularly, and over 200 pounds heavier than any bike I've ridden ever. 1996 Goldwing 1500. No experience with these really. I rode a friend's once or twice. I test drove a couple over the past 2 years thinking about getting one and always decided I didn't want to. But this bike was a fantastic deal at 1500 bucks, and I figured that's not a lot to invest to see if I like it.
First of all, welcome to the channel and thank you for stopping by. Now, if you have looked at the thumbnail, and I'm sure you have or you wouldn't have clicked it, you probably weren't expecting me to be riding in the woods. Too long, didn't watch. I sold my 1996 Goldwing 1500. Uh-oh. Ha! Guess who has his anti-lock brakes on? Bad idea. All right, back to our previously scheduled program. I sold my Goldwing, and I actually sold it about a month ago, but I haven't said anything about selling it because ahead of me, way ahead of me, because, well, he's a woods hooligan, is Patrick of Moto Ramblings. And Patrick was really looking forward to us riding our Goldwings, not on this part of North Carolina, but on some other parts of North Carolina. And I didn't want to just tell Patrick over the phone, hey buddy, you know, I got rid of the bike before we had a chance to ride them. And I wanted to wait until I could see Patrick, and he thought so that I could see the look on his face, but it was really because I didn't want to, you know, be a dick. We had plans to ride together, and I was very excited about it in the beginning, and then I didn't want to spring it on him without being able to give him the whole story in person, which I kind of did today. Really, I should have my ABS off. Holy shoot, I am not stopping well. But the reason I sold it is the reason to click that link, so let's go ahead and get into it. The 1996 Goldwing that I bought for $1,500 was in amazing shape. It was great. It did everything that it was supposed to. And I thought that was what I was looking for. I was thinking, I want a big cruising bike to give me the most comfort so that I can cross the country up and down without feeling fatigued when I arrived. I was looking for that Honda Civic / living room couch motorcycle experience. I thought that would be for me. And when I got the bike, it certainly was delivering that. That seat from 1996 was more comfortable than living room couches that I have owned and sat on. It was wild. The ergonomics, I'm 5'10" with ever so slightly short legs. The ergonomics were perfect. I think if you had normal length legs, my inseam is like 29 to 30. I think if you had a normal 32 to 34 for a man my height, might be cramped. But for me, I absolutely positively could have just sat on that bike and gone until I was too tired to continue. And I mean, mentally tired. Physically, that thing was keeping me cozy. But I had a problem trying to reach the 1,000 miles. I have bought many bikes and sold them somewhere between 1,000 and 5,000 miles. And the reason for that is I always thought that while it's absolutely hysterical when someone puts up on their thumbnail 1,000 mile long-term review for a bike, I consider 1,000 miles the break-in period. If you don't give a bike 1,000 miles, in my opinion, up to that point in time, you really haven't given it a chance. You haven't really figured out how it's going to work for you. And I couldn't get there. I tried for 2 months, and all I found that I was doing was forcing myself to ride the bike because I didn't have any excitement whatsoever. Whenever I rode the Goldwing, it was perfect at what it was designed to do. It was perfect as transportation. Now, that's not to say Goldwings are not a cool bike that you can do tons of things with. I mean, I've seen Patrick's videos. I've seen him lean that thing over and start scraping. I've seen other Goldwing channels where they ride it like a sport bike. But what I realized was, I don't even want to get there. Maybe I could. Would I ever be as comfortable as Patrick leaning that thing over like my FC1? No, absolutely positively not. That man and that bike are one, and he does crazy things on it. But I'm an okay rider. I am definitely average, and I think that if I had had a spark at the beginning, if something had clicked, I could probably have fun with it, but I just couldn't get there. I couldn't get on that bike that felt like a Honda Civic. It was just low RPMs, accelerating as fast as the bike could. It accelerated remarkably fast, but I couldn't feel a thing. It's so heavy that it felt like a small car. It never ever felt like I had excitement. I never felt like I was truly enjoying it. I think we're waiting for the guys on the big bikes to catch up. But I suppose at this point, there's nothing more to say other than I think the Honda Goldwing is probably the perfect touring bike. But the perfect bike for a job, the right tool for the job, isn't always the right answer. Now, I let Patrick know that that it didn't have the bike again today, and then I let Roger know I didn't have the bike, and they both said to me, well, what are you going to ride to Timfest? What are you going to ride across the country to South Dakota? And I said, I'm going to ride my 790. I did it before. I'll do it again. And they both looked at me like I was, a little dumb, which is fair. I, after all, just got rid of a couch on wheels in order to ride a, pretty ballsy adventure bike. It's not even a road-oriented adventure bike. It's a 790 Adventure R. It's got a frickin' 35.5-inch seat height with a dirt bike fender up front, catches air like crazy, and it is absolutely positively not built for long-distance touring. But you know what? I don't have to force myself to ride that bike. I'm excited when I get on that bike. So I'm willing to trade the perfection of touring for the discomfort of an adventure bike just for that feeling of I want to be on this bike. And I just couldn't get there on the Goldwing. It's disappointing to me. It's disappointing to Patrick that we're not going to be able to Goldwing ride through the mountains, which I imagine for him would be exciting. I love to show people new things, and I can't think of a better person to teach you how to lean a Goldwing than Patrick. But just goes to show you, sometimes the best bike in the world isn't going to be the bike for you. And for me, right now, at this point in time, a Goldwing is not for me. I just thought I would explain it, since people may have heard about me having the bike or seen any of the millions of pictures I put up in my initial excitement. But a Goldwing is not for Frank quite yet. Maybe next year. All right, if you stuck around, I appreciate it, and take care.